Well, hey, friends, I am so excited today to bring you a conversation that I'm having with my new friend, Katie Luankghot. She runs an incredible Instagram channel called Sweet Catholic Life. And if you've seen this channel, you know it's awesome. She prays the rosary and the Divine Chaplet, the Divine Mercy Chaplet every day. And so a daily rosary prayer, I was instantly like, I like this girl. She's awesome. So I've been on her channel a little bit, and so I thought when I met with her, I was like, you've got to come on to my channel and talk to my people, because I get so excited about seeing Catholic families raising their kids in the faith and just doing this thing the right way. So many people have such a negative view of Catholicism. So when we have good examples of people that are joyful and devoted and on fire for Christ and are raising their families that way, it's just absolutely amazing. And Katie's got an incredible story, an incredible testimony, and an awesome ministry that she does there on Instagram. So I'm going to bring Katie in. Katie is from the north. It's cold up there. It's cold where I'm at too. How are you today, Katie?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me on so much.
Well, it is a privilege to have you on this channel, and I'm very excited to get to know your story a little bit more and share this with our people. So I got to go on your Instagram channel to pray the rosary with you.
Right, and we burned it down. Like, it got, my phone overheated. It was crazy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that. Well, hopefully we won't have anything exploding in here today.
I will say that to date, that was probably the most people I've had on a live stream rosary. I've been slowly trying to build it up. There are many people in the community, but unfortunately, since they're all over the world, I can't find a good enough time to get everyone on at the same time to pray, which I know is kind of impossible, but the goal is to get maybe hundreds of people praying the rosary. We'll see.
Yeah, well, you do a great job, and there's a couple of things I love about your channel in particular. I love the stuff that when you incorporate your husband and your kids into the videos and the reels and stuff that you do. But I also love that, you know, obviously you're consistent with praying the rosary, which is important to me. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that you just come across so real, and just you're not like trying to make everything look perfect all the time. It's just like, hey, we're here to pray. Sometimes you're having to deal with a kid coming in and you're whatever, but it's like that's life. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. I get a lot of support from the community, which is, I know when I first started praying the rosary live, I was really nervous about that. What if I, mess up the prayers, or what if my daughter needs me and that's going to turn people away from coming to the rosary? But they actually embraced that. They loved it. They're like, I'm doing the same thing as you, only you're going live. So keep doing it. And so that's what gave me the motivation to keep going. And the rosary is something that has been a strong devotion throughout my whole life since I was a little girl. And praying it live now and sharing that with others, getting more people to pray the rosary, and literally anybody can pray the rosary. You don't have to be Catholic, but if you are, that would be amazing. So spreading that devotion is just a really deep passion of mine.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, were you raised, it sounds to me like you're a cradle Catholic, raised in the church. Have you always been fired up for Jesus? Like, tell us a little bit about your faith journey.
Yeah, pretty much. I have always been extremely into my faith. My mom and dad were really involved in the church. We were involved in the church as well. I was in the choir. My mom taught the catechism at the church. My dad played guitar in the choir. So we've always been pretty involved. And my mom homeschooled us. She took us out of the public school because she saw like what was happening in the system, and it wasn't good for us. I didn't want to leave the house. I never wanted to get on the bus. I was just having a hard time being in that type of environment, there was zero faith in that school whatsoever. So she ended up discerning that, and she homeschooled us, which I tell her to this day that I am so thankful that she did that for me. And we would always pray the rosary every day. And on days where we didn't pray the rosary, there would always be something like chaotic, stressful, something went down. And I would just say, Mom, it's because we didn't say the rosary today. And she was like, you're right. Let's say a rosary right now. So it's just always been very close to me, the rosary. There have been times where I didn't know what to do, so I would just pray the rosary. And I carried that with me all through high school and college. I don't think there's ever, there might have been like a dryness in my prayer life where I wasn't praying the rosary because I was so caught up in, maybe it was college or discernment of my spirit in life to see what am I supposed to do in my life. And I did share a post on that on my page recently saying why the rosary changed my life. Because when I did go back to the rosary, I realized that God was like, right now, I need you to be close to me and pray the rosary. And so I prayed the rosary every day, and that led me to meeting and connecting with Adam again. So we can get into that later, but the rosary
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you grew up cradle Catholic, but you don't sound like sometimes what we hear of the cradle Catholics, where it's like, well, you just sort of were going through the motions, and then maybe you had an awakening into your faith after you walked away from, like, it sounds to me like you've always been pretty devoted.
I have been, and my mom took me to a retreat when I was in high school. We went to that together. It was Women of Grace. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. That was a beautiful experience. I love that. It was just for young women, and my mom and I had such a great time together as a mother and daughter. It's just us. And then in college, that was the first time that I left my house. I went to Georgia to college, and that's where I met Adam. And he was also very deep in his faith as well. So that was something that we connected with. You know, we would go to daily mass, and we were just very good friends. And I think that's where I really grew even more in my faith. Like, I was like, yep, I'm a Catholic. This is what we do. This is what we believe. We go to church. But when I went to college and I had my Catholic friends, I was just like, wow, this is a whole new world. This was incredible. And it just exploded for me even more. I was involved in a church where I would be the youth leader for the group.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that was another thing that Adam and I did together. And it's just really, you really experience God and your spiritual life on a whole new level. It was just amazing. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you met your husband, Adam, at college. Tell us a little bit about him.
He was a crazy looking kid. He was into skateboarding. He had this long, shaggy hair. He was because he came from California to Georgia. He lived in Georgia, but they moved from California. So he was very California, hey, what's up kind of lingo going on there. But the fact that he was so into his faith, we hit it off from the bat. And he and I liked each other a lot. We actually started to date, and he came to visit me in New York that summer, and my dad went over to him. Why you have the tablet? And my dad goes over to him, and he's like, listen, you guys are 18 years old, you're freshmen in college. I wouldn't lock into any serious type of relationship. And see, this is where the real life comes in.
All right, that's okay. Hello, sweetie.
And so I was just kind of like, no, Dad, I wrote it. I was like, no, I was head over heels in love with him. I was like, I want to be in a relationship with him. I'm very happy. And, he kind of was talking to Adam on the side about, we still have 4 more years in college, and we shouldn't be into any serious relationship until we're discerning marriage. And right now our focus should be on college and our studies. And so Adam was kind of just agreeing with me a little bit. But then after the summer, we go back to school, and I see him being a little bit more quiet. And whenever we go to pray, he's not really saying much. And he's like, you know what your dad, said to me really took root. And I want him to know that if I respect him and if I do want a future with you, I'm going to have to, follow his rule, his wishes. And I was just like, you're insane. This is crazy. Let's still be friends or figure this out or pray about it. And nope, that was it. We just ended it. And there was a lot of sadness there, and which actually led me to be more prayerful. I was going to the chapel even more. Why would you do this to me? But I am so sad right now. And I almost needed to realize at that point in my life that you don't find what you need in another person. You need to find what you need in God first. So I would do adoration all through the night and go to my next class the next day. It was just insane. And he and I actually both ended up getting 2 years later into college, into another relationship with a different person. And they both didn't work out, as you know. They were both not very good, healthy relationships for ourselves. And he left the school, so I didn't see him. Okay. That was it. He joined the Navy. He left, and I graduated. I came back to New York, and I got a job. And that's when I was just like, what is my vocation in life? Am I supposed to be teaching? Am I supposed to be married? Am I supposed to be single? And so that's when I decided that I was going to commit to praying the rosary every single day, would wake up, walk around my neighborhood, would pray a rosary, maybe more than that. But something really crazy and driven by God happened. He contacted me on Facebook. We had not contacted each other in years because he left the school. I graduated. I moved on with my life. He moved on with his life. He reached out to me because where he was in the military, he actually connected with my old college roommate. And she said, "When was the last time you talked to Katie?" And he's like, "I guess I should reach out to her and say, what's up?"
Wow.
So he did. And that's pretty much how our friendship and relationship, it was very quick, because that first connection we made on Facebook, we were instantly like, well, here's my phone number. And then he texted me, and he was just a friend to me every day. He was like, "How's your day going? I just wanted to see that you had a good day." Very gentlemanly. He's such a gentleman. He's so into the courtship versus dating. So he took the time to leave his job and come and visit my family. And he wasn't just coming to visit me, but he would come to visit my family and spend time with my family. And then he asked my father if he could court me. And of course, my father gave him the permission, because he mentioned that whole series back in the summer. Remember when, you told us that if God wanted us to be together, we would find a way back to each other. And, so we were courting and we were engaged within that same year. It was very quick, but then we got married the following year. And it's just, the rest is history. I mean, it was all by the hand of God, and it still is. I don't even know what the rest of our story is going to be like coming down the future for us, but the rosary had a big hand in our relationship for sure.
Well, that is such a beautiful story, and it's so countercultural to the way things work today, where everyone is so impatient and they're driven by their feelings. And it's, to do what he did, to say, okay, I'm going to respect your dad and not pursue this now. I don't know. I mean, I'm a dad. I have a 25-year-old daughter, and that, as a dad of a girl like that, I would be like, okay, this guy's awesome, because that seems so countercultural to what the world is. So, and the thing I love about it, Katie, is that that's a foundation that you can build on. You guys began as friends, and as friends centered in the faith, and now look at what you have. It's so incredible. And when you guys were starting your family, did you have these conversations about, well, what kind of parents are we going to be? How are we going to raise our kids in the faith? Or did you just sort of fall into it?
I think a lot of it has to be experience, because you can have a plan. This. You can have a plan. You can have it all set out the way that you think it's going to go, but it's definitely going to change along the way. We're still figuring that out. We're still having conversations every night to see, what would be better in this house, for our girls at this time, and disciplining wise, school wise, all the things. When they get older, I don't even want to broach that topic yet, because I have 3 beautiful daughters, and I don't even want to. I'll worry about that when I get there, but girls.
So you're a homeschooling mom. You take care of of your 3 daughters. You're raising them in the faith, and man, it is a sweet Catholic life. So tell us about your channel and what made you decide to start that.
So the beginning of that channel was actually called Sweet Mama Life. And
Sweet Mama Life, okay.
Yes. So as I told you, when I graduated college, I became a teacher. I was a preschool Montessori teacher. In my church, there was a good catechesis of the Good Shepherd school that I worked at. So after Adam and I got married, I still was teaching. And so I had Mariana, and my mom would watch her while I went to go teach. And until I was hoping that when she got old enough, she would go to the school with me. I would be her teacher there. My lifelong goal was to teach and have be the head teacher of that school. But God had other things in store for me. So I started up Sweet Mama Life when Mariana, it was 2018. I think I had just gotten pregnant with her sister in 2018. And so I'm posting all this stuff just about regular mom life, recipes, Montessori activities you can do with your children at home, and just you name it. The page, I grew a community on Instagram. It was amazing. I love them. They're still here with me, which is incredible. that I changed over to Sweet Catholic Life in 2019. I switched it over, and then in 2020 I started praying the rosary, because what happened was I just felt from the mom blogging, all the products that I would get in the mail, I would have to have a certain deadline to post them, and they would have to look a certain way, and if you didn't meet the deadlines, then you could get in trouble, and it was just too stressful to do that. And I was also like, this is not leaving me feeling like fulfilled, like I'm doing something that's filling others. It's almost like a salesperson, like, you need to buy this, you need to do this, you need to get this to have your house the right way, or it should be like this. And so I was like, I need to do a sabbatical on this page. I shut it down. I was closed for 3 months. And in that time, we actually, as a family, we were traveling, since Adam had to do some training in Missouri. We were all by ourselves in a little Airbnb in Missouri, and I had no Instagram, and it was just so good. You know, all the family time just together. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to pray about what God wants me to do with my community on there, because I'm not just going to leave them hanging. Right. If he doesn't want me to do it, then I won't do it at all. I'll just shut it down. So I prayed a novena, and on the day that the novena ended, I had opened up my Bible just to read, and I always like to do this. I don't know if anyone else does. I don't have like a set spot in my Bible that I read. I just open it. So I opened it, and there had been a dried rose petal on this page. That was a verse which was highlighted in Matthew that said, "Let your light shine for all to see." And I was just like, I wonder what that has to mean for me. And I'm doing my thing throughout the day. I always would pray the rosary when I would wake up. After the girls ate lunch, I would pray another rosary, and I just have so many intentions and people that I'm considering in my prayers. So I'm always praying the rosary, and I'm like, you know what? This is what I want to do on that page. I want them to see how beautiful this Catholic faith is. You know, they know me, but they don't know that I'm Catholic. They don't know anything about me. They just know about stuff that I use. So I changed the name. I did a whole clean sweep. I kind of made a little announcement saying that this is what I'm going to do now. So if you don't want to be a part of that, then that's fine. But if you do, then awesome. And so I had people joining in for the rosary telling me that they've heard of the rosary, but they don't know what it is. And it's like after a month or so that it's been changing their life. They've been noticing, they've been seeing, you know, their kids get very calm whenever they're praying the rosary live with me, or their kids sleep better at night, or they sleep better at night, or something, you know? So that really did give me the motivation to keep going. And it's just literally, I consecrated the whole page to God. I'm like, this is absolutely what you want from it. So it's your page. Whoever comes here is through your grace, and I will do what I need to do as long as you need me to. So wow. That's basically it in a nutshell.
That's so cool. And, you know, I love how you incorporate that into your family life too. You know, it's awesome to see that. So how has that been? Because I do the rosary every day also, but I don't have little kids at home, you know, where our kids are old, we're empty nesters. So it's, you know, it's different for us, but like for you, I mean, and it still can be challenging to like make sure every single day we do that. We've been doing it since 2020 also. So, you know, what you're doing is a lot more demanding, I would say, because you've got the kids there too. Does it always go well for you, or do you have times where you're like, I don't know how long I can keep doing this?
There are, like, I went through seasons. So when I first started it, I was not doing the Divine Mercy Chaplet. I would just do a rosary in the morning at 10 in the morning. So my daughters would be eating their breakfast or doing school, or both probably, and my other baby would be sleeping still. So I knew I had like 15 minutes where I could pray a rosary, and I did that because I wanted people to know that it doesn't take a long time to pray a rosary. If I can do it, then they can do it. You know, I have my kids here and I'm praying a quick rosary. It literally is, if you want to pray it long, it probably will take 20 minutes, but 15, 20 minutes max. And so I would do that. And then I changed the time to 8 p.m. at night, because a lot of people were saying, I'm working and I want to pray the rosary, but now I'm watching the playback. And so I was like, 8 p.m. would be fine. That's when my children go to bed. And now I'm just in a season where 8 p.m. unfortunately doesn't work. So I'm doing everything at 3 p.m.
That's Eastern time, everybody.
Yes, yeah. Eastern time. And I do the rosary right after the Divine Mercy Chaplet. But then there are some days where I come on that night to just kind of talk to people. And then he'll say, can we pray a rosary? And I'm never going to say no to that. So of course we pray a rosary. And on Thanksgiving, I like to do a family rosary. So Adam and I will figure out a good time for our family to go live and pray the rosary with everybody on there. So
that's
I don't know.
Cool. So do you have any other like visions for your channel or other things that you want to start doing or ideas that you're working on?
Whatever happens in prayer, I literally just will think about it and talk to Adam about it. And one thing that I really want to do that he knows I see him over there looking at me, that I've been asking him for is a men's rosary. I've had a lot of men on my rosary. They're like, this isn't just a mom's rosary. And it's not. There are dads there. There are men's there. And they're asking if Adam could ever do a rosary for them, maybe once a month. So we will figure something out to get him on more often. He opened up an Instagram page, but he's not going to do anything with it, I don't think. We'll see. He's just a little... he's like, oh, you're so organized and you lead it all and you do all the reflections and the readings. I'm like, it's fine. Like, you could just do it your own way, and we'll figure it out. But that is definitely one thing that I've had a need for. And we did Marian consecration as a group on the page.
Yes.
I think twice we did it.
Which one did you do? Father Gately's?
Yep. There's
we did that one too.
There's two different ones. I think the St. Therese one, and then there's also the what's the other one? The
33 Days to Morning Glory, that one?
Yeah, 33 days. The one that I did when I was 16 was total consecration. To Jesus through Mary Louis de Montfort. And so they want to do that one. I was like, we'll have to look into that because as a community, that's really in depth. It's not just like a simple reading every single day and a prayer. It's like a few pages of reading. So they would have to really commit, which we can figure out and easily do. But other things, just the main focus of this page now is an invitation to encourage people to deepen their relationship with God. So I am totally about, don't just follow the page. Follow it because you want to grow in your spiritual life with God. You want that, in your life. And I'm just trying to be a help in that. Like, I'll post prayers that I can think of for the day. Today is the Feast of St. Elizabeth of Hungary, so I posted a prayer for her. Anything going on that I think would be relevant or helpful, I try to do that I would find helpful for myself, like as a mom. Oh, I really needed this prayer today for, a prayer for mothers, or a prayer for marriage or something. So that's basically
awesome.
The goal.
So Instagram is where people can find you, Sweet Catholic Life. Have you ever thought about branching out to make YouTube videos or anything like that? Or what about have you ever done any kind of talks?
I haven't done any talks. I'm probably a little too, I'm not an A personality. I'm probably a little too shy to do that. But if someone asked me, I probably would.
Well, they just might now after they watch this. So you never know.
I guess we'll have to see. Whatever God wants, I'm gonna keep the door open for that.
Awesome.
Whatever needs to be done. And
okay, great. Yeah. So what advice do you have for mothers who are trying to raise their kids in the faith, who maybe have struggled, or they're newly married and they're going to be starting their family, or maybe they're already in the midst of it and they're seeing this Catholic life and they're saying, I want to do this, but it just seems so overwhelming or hard. Do you have any advice for them?
Everything is, from the outside, is going to seem challenging, but once you take that first step and start, it's not that hard, especially if you put God and you're grounded in Christ and He is the center of everything that you do. Literally, I love the Bible verse, I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. I say it all day, every day, that, and Jesus, I surrender everything to you, take care of everything. Those are my two things that I'll be saying throughout the house. My daughter will tell you right now, the other day we got in the car to go to daily mass, and daily mass is at 12:15 and we got in our car at 12:12. And I said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, if we get there on time, this is literally by your hand. And we got there a little bit late, but it was still incredible that the mass started a little bit later that day. It's God, you can do anything when you are grounded and centered in Christ and you allow him to work through you in that way. So if something seems challenging, then take it to prayer. Say, Lord, what can I do in this situation? Help me, help me to be what you want me to do. Help me to do what you want me to do. Help me to say what you need me to say. I also like even saying that to Mary. Mary, give me the words. What would you say to Jesus in this moment with your children? How could I approach my child in this time? Praying a rosary and saying the prayer by St. Louis de Marillac, I bind my children to the Immaculate Heart of Mary with this rosary.
Wow.
Has done incredible things with my relationships with my children in moments where they have been sick and I'm confused and I don't know how to care for them because I've exhausted all my options. I would literally say the rosary and say, my Blessed Mother, with this rosary, I bind my children to your Immaculate Heart. Please take care of them. And I suddenly would see something and think of something. And, I'm telling you, Christ is the center of everything. The moment you wake up as a mom or a dad, you need to make that first act to let them be in the center of everything that you do in that day. Whenever I don't do that, it really doesn't go that well. It never does.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that prayer. Who's the prayer from again?
St. Louis de Marillac.
St. Louis de Marillac. And it's, I bind my children to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. That's how it is?
That's not word for word it, but now I'm going to try and find it, and I'll have to email it to you, but it's...
I'll find it. I'll find it.
Immaculate Heart of Mary. With this rosary, I bind my children to your Immaculate Heart.
Awesome.
It was actually so popular that I shared it multiple times on my page. Yeah, it probably is snowing. It's cold.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. So if people want to find you, they just go to Sweet Catholic Life on Instagram. Your page isn't like private or anything like that. People can find you and they can just jump in. And I love how when you go to your channel to pray, you can list your intentions and people can see them there. They can have, there's a community there. And I think that's incredible. And you guys do this every day at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Chaplet of Divine Mercy and Rosary. And I can tell all of you guys, as a guy who does the Rosary every day too on YouTube, having somebody on Instagram, I've thought about figuring out a way to do it on Instagram too. And then I was just like, nope, that's not my gig. And then I found yours. I'm like, that's her gig. So it's awesome to be able to kind of partner together.
Yeah.
In that.
Well, if you ever do it on Instagram, I would definitely jump in and pray with you. I'm always open to praying.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you run the Instagram rosary.
I wouldn't even take the full credit though, because what happened was I prayed the rosary with many Hail Marys at a time. They're a beautiful page.
I'm going to be praying with them in January.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I will be there. I love that. And so they had me pray with them on Mother's Day, on my birthday at the same time. And I was just like, this is beautiful. And I wanted to do that as well. So they have a very early morning time that people pray before they go to work. And mine is in the middle of the day. But it's great. They jump onto my rosary. I jump onto their rosary. They have much, much more people praying with them. And I don't know. I think I just need to stick and commit to a certain time because unfortunately mom life has changed my time praying at least 3 or 4 times. And I think that's why there's a little bit of a disconnect. And so that fault is completely my own, but we will try to figure out something. Well, maybe we'll stick with the 3 p.m. for as long as we can and see, hopefully, if we can get
I think it's great because I found yours. I found the many Hail Marys, and then there's a guy named Deacon Ryan who was doing it for a while. Did you ever see his rosary? Mm-hmm. He was doing it for a while on Instagram, and so I think it's awesome because the more prayers that we can have going, whether it be YouTube or whatever, it's amazing. So it's such an inspiration to me to see a young mom and a young family like you guys doing your thing. I go to church and my wife and I, we walk in and we see these young families come in with all the kids and like I said, our kids are grown. And man, it just it touches my heart so deeply because I didn't have that when I was a young dad. I was a pastor, so I was doing all the church stuff, right? And to see this generation of kids growing up, and I know our churches, everyone talks about all the problems in the church these days, and I feel like the generation that is your kids' generation is going to save the church because they're being brought up in the faith from this young age with these devoted parents that are teaching them to pray, that are leading them in prayer. And man, I have such amazing hope for what's going on. So thank you for doing what you do.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the more families that I see in church, it's just so exciting, because it's not just like, a lot of parents would say we would go to mass separately, you know, leave the kids at home because it's just too hard, it's too challenging. And I think the best thing to do is to create that routine and take your children with you to church, because once it's already in their routine, they're going to want to go. We committed this summer to go to a family holy hour, and now that it's winter, they were just asking. It's Wednesdays, every Wednesday, so they wanted to go yesterday, and we're like, well, it's cold and it's dark. Do you still want? Yeah, they're like, we want to go. We want to, you know, spend time with Jesus. And because we have been consistent with it. It's consistency is the key. They literally will sit there, they'll pray, and they'll read their church books, and it's like that's their special time to have quiet time with that one book that they get to look forward to only at church. So I think, and this is something that I have shared with a lot of parents out there, because Adam and I used to do that. He would go to one mass, I would go to another mass. The kids would just be all crazy, and I was in the choir singing, so it was a little too hard for him to juggle all the kids by himself. Even though he would do it, he would prefer we go to the vigil mass as a family, and then I would do my mass in the morning. But I think being consistent and making sure that you take them is the key, because they just get so accustomed to the routine and how the mass works and how it goes. And now they look forward to going, and all the parts of the mass that we talk about at home, they actually get to see it. It's like even better than watching a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's so awesome. Consistency is so big. And you're right. You know, the kids will love it. Everyone's afraid, oh, the kids are going to be so bored. They're only bored if mom and dad tell them they should be bored. You know, if we bring the kids in and we're just like, all right, you're going to have to sit there. We know it's going to be boring, and we're going to bring all this stuff to keep you entertained. Let them engage in what's happening and show them that, and they will jump in. I mean, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Katie, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me here. I know you're very busy. I know you've got a lot of people reaching out to you, and I'm honored that you came to my channel today and spent some time with us here.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me. It was truly a pleasure to come on and just share. I realized that a lot of people are asking me, what's the story with your page? And I've really never shared that. I just kind of changed my name on my page, and then I'm still doing what I'm doing, and not really much about me. So maybe I should do a post or something, or maybe once this goes live, I'll share that with them.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Katie. And I am just encouraging all of you guys out there to go to Instagram, find Sweet Catholic Life, and spend some time during the afternoon praying the chaplet and praying with Katie. I think you'll be so happy that you did. It's time well spent, my friend. So make sure that you check that out.
Absolutely. Would love to have you there and pray for you every day. So
awesome.
Hopefully we'll see you there, and got to get Keith on to pray a rosary with me too in the future.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, my friends. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the link in the description to Katie's channel, and go to Instagram and pray with her. God bless you guys.